Let's get nerdy, folks. Welcome to Monday Night Nerd. It's Monday night, and we are ready to talk about a bunch of nerdy stuff, including the main event, which is getting ready for Comic-Con. If you've never been to a Comic-Con, if this is your first Comic-Con coming up, if this is your 50th Comic-Con coming up, these tips will help you get ready and be prepared for absolutely anything. And we're going to be talking from the cosplayer perspective and the regular general admission cosplay or regular admission attendee. We're going to talk about all that stuff in a little bit, but first we got some newsy news to talk about. And that news is, first of all, what are you guys excited about Fan Expo? Because I've been asked all week, actually for a few weeks, what are you excited about? What are you excited about seeing at Fan Expo? Who are you excited to see? What celebrities are you going to meet? Everybody keeps asking me what I do at Fan Expo because this will be my lucky 13th year going. 13 years I've been going to Fan Expo. It's nice because that pandemic year knocked everything into alignment. So now 2023 is my 13th. 2024 will be my 14th. It's perfect now. I don't have to do the mental math anymore. What do I like doing at Fan Expo? Because I've been there so many times. I got to admit, some of the booths, you see them over and over again. You can kind of tell what their stock's going to be before you even get through the doors. Personally, what I like to do, you got to hit up Artist Alley. Artist Alley is always good because Artist Alley changes every year. Local artists come in and they start showing off their art, and it could be prints, it could be things they make, it could be 3D prints, it could be big wooden pieces, could be shirts, could be a whole bunch of stuff. That is always a number one. And if you don't go early, don't go on Saturday because it is a nightmare down there because everyone else wants to get there and get the local artist stuff. When it comes to booths, I try and do a good skim of the big booths first. So PlayStation booths, Xbox booths, Lego when they were there, big booths like that to see if they're doing any giveaways or anything, because then I can mentally prepare myself of I need to be here at this time on this day to get the free stuff if there's anything good. Lastly, I will always hit the big booth in the middle, and it's BMV, I believe, Big Books Movie Video, Books Music Video, I believe it is. It's a Toronto store. They have tons of graphic novels, and they always have a deal on at Fan Expo where it's something stupidly good priced. It's something like 5 paperback graphic novels for $20. I always hit that booth. I try and hit it on the first day. I'm going to this year because it's the only day I'm not in costume. But I will hit that booth once. I might even hit that booth a second time because they sometimes pull out new stock, and I always end up with a bunch of stuff. I think last year, I ended up with like 10 graphic novels, maybe 15 graphic novels by the time I was done, and it was for $60. Like, that's incredible if you can find some good stuff. And it wasn't crap. Like, I think the 3 Jokers was one of them. I picked up Injustice versus He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, which is a cool book. Tons of good stuff there. So BMV for sure. The big booths. Other than that, again, I've seen a lot of the same booths there every single year. There actually is a really good one that I'm going to be hitting up again because I bought some stuff last year for a few friends, and I think I'm going to pick myself up something. It is an LGBTQ plus booth for gamers, and they've got a whole bunch of LGBTQ stuff, and it is actually really funny stuff. They actually have a bunch of pins and a bunch of shirts. We picked up some stuff for some friends last year, but I think I'm going to pick myself up something this year because I was in a rush and I didn't really get the chance to look. But I do remember there was a it wasn't 69ing, but it was something where it's like 2 N64s were on top of each other, and it was sexual. It was pretty funny. So I think I'm going to pick up something from their booth this year if they're back. But that's what I'm doing. What are you guys doing? I know I got a bunch of friends who are probably in chat, Alex being one of them, who are going to be volunteering and are going to be running around the con all weekend and might not be able to see everything. But what are you guys excited for if you're going? Are you going? If you're not one of my friends who volunteers, are you going? If you're not going, why are you not going? Because I completely understand when it comes to having to spend money on a hotel, when it comes to spending money on tickets and all that. I get why people don't go now. I will be completely honest right now. I will tell you everything. it's going to cost me at least $1,000 this weekend coming up to go to Fan Expo. That is a little insane to think about. That is going to cost me $1,000 to go for 4 days, just up the road, 45 minutes to Toronto. It's kind of getting to the point of being a little out of my price range. I'm probably still going to save up every year because this kind of is a vacation for me, and it's also the biggest con in the area. But I do understand why some people are saying, I just can't afford to go because I'm going by myself. I'm going by myself because if I have a family and I have kids, that's a problem. Like I could totally see not being able to go. And Alex says in chat, yeah, no GameStop and EB again this year. This is the third year, I believe, that they are not going to be in town for Fan Expo. I talked to an individual at my local GameStop about a week ago, and I just said, usually they've got volunteers there every year helping out with their booth. And I asked her, I said, have you guys heard anything? And she said, well, we're about 2 weeks away from it, and I haven't had any emails come across, corporate. So if they don't hear anything by that point, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be there. And the floor map was released, I think, a couple days ago, and they're not listed. So it is interesting, though, if you're a cosplayer. The cosplay section downstairs this year on the north building. So if you go in the north building, which is not the CN Tower side, the other side, you are not the Ripley's Aquarium side, the other building. If you go in, seems like it's going to be cosplay heaven because you've got, I know Sean Ward and the Geeks and Co folks are on one side in their room. I think it's 205. And the cosplay guests are on the other side, 202, and they're going to have the red carpet in the middle. So it looks like Fan Expo is sort of making that cosplay heaven. If anybody wants to go there and meet cosplayers, I think that's where we're all kind of going to be for most of the weekend, which is, I agree with a lot of the cosplayers that I've talked to. It's a little bit of an issue because they're going to be stuck in rooms. So getting the general public to see them is going to be a little harder. But I think when it comes to people that are actually interested and are not just walking past, I think if you're interested in cosplay, you are going to have a full section where everything is available. You're not going to be moving, to 5 different buildings because, we're scattered all over the place. So I'm appreciative of that, but we'll see how it works. This is a new layout. So, I'm not going to bash it until I see it. I'm still interested. But yeah, this is going to be a really fun weekend. I've got everything packed. I'm rocking 3 totes worth of cosplay. I've got a backpack with my actual living clothes, and I've got 1 cooler bag that's going to have a little bit of food in it because I don't want to eat out every single meal. I'd rather bring a couple snacks and maybe a sandwich or 2 because, again, I'm already spending $1,000 just to go. I don't really want to spend much more. But yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend as always. I'm going to be exhausted by the end. I've taken Monday off because I know I'm going to need it. My boss completely understands. But yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun weekend. I hope to see you all there. If you see me, again, as always, come by, say hi. I'll be in my costume. I will be this guy, podcast host, on Thursday. I will be Dash Rendar on Friday. The Geeks and Co guys are having a meetup, Star Wars meetup on the Friday. I will definitely be there for that. I think it's around noon. Then I will be in Ghost Rider on Saturday, and then I will be rocking Green Lantern on Sunday. So if you see me, come by, say hi. 2 of those costumes, I have no vision. So if you see me, don't expect me to see you because you'll be really fuzzy. But swing by, tap me on the shoulder, say, hey, it's so-and-so, and I'll be happy to say hi. Let's move on to the next thing. Speaking of cosplay, I'm going to give you my last update on the Spider-Man suit, and then we're never talking about it again. So where we are with the Spider-Man suit, if you've been following along, I had purchased a Spider-Man suit in April from a seller. I took about 3 months for them to get it, and then still didn't get all of it. I was missing the mask. I finally got the mask a few weeks ago, and the mask didn't fit properly. I got fed up. I wanted my money back, and I took it to PayPal, and PayPal has denied me my money back. They said it does not fall under their qualification, their whatever it is for product protection. So I will not be getting my money back. Could I go to a credit card company and fight the charge because I did technically not get what I wanted? Yes. But at this point, I am so tired of wasting my own mental energy on this. I'm just calling it quits. I still have the suit. I can still use the suit for other things. It's the Spider-Man suit that I got, if you don't know, is the Ben Reilly blue hoodie suit. So it's basically a red suit. So I could use it. And this was the intention of getting it, this specific one, because I like the character, but I can also use it to make a Daredevil. I can make a Magneto. I can do a bunch of different things with it. So I still have the suit. I have the mask. I unfortunately, like I said, won't get my money back. So, you know, a bunch of people said I should go online and I should bash this person and throw them up on social media to help other cosplayers. I'm not that person. I really am not. Am I frustrated? 100%. But I'm not that guy who's just going to start bashing the guy over and over and over again. He knows my opinion. I know his opinion. Who is right, who is wrong is ambiguous. It doesn't really matter. If you want to know who it is, I'll tell you right now. It was Super Geek Design. I will not be purchasing from them again. I'm sorry. I tried my best. I was as nice as I could be in these situations, but yeah, that was a frustrating ordeal, and I will not be ordering from them again. And I think, and I will be completely honest in this. I think the thing that frustrated me more than anything was I purposely went to Super Geek Design because they were not a mass Chinese seller. They were from the UK, so I was thinking that'd be nice because I don't want something mass produced. I find out once the shipping arrives that he's buying them from China, and that's where his maker is. So that frustrated me also. So make sure to check. I should have checked these type of things, but make sure to check if you're ever going to buy these things from other countries to make sure that they're not just a drop shipper. So my bad, but anyways, that's the last I'm going to talk about the Spider-Man suit. It's over. If you see me walking in it, maybe I'll figure out what to do with it later. But right now, it is in a closet. I'm not talking about it anymore. I'm done with it. Mental energy is spent. Let's talk about horror. Let's talk about some horror because I have been wanting to watch this movie forever. And unfortunately, if you know my wife, she does not like horror, and she is very understanding about it. She knows that I'm a horror fan, and she said multiple times, "Hun, watch horror whenever you want. I'll put in headphones. I'll go to another room. Don't worry about it. We have our TV in the living room, so it's very open. If you're anywhere on that floor, you will hear the TV." And I always say no. I always wait until she is gone. She's gone to a friend's house. She's out doing something. That's when I'll watch a horror movie. So she went out. Where was she? She was at a friend's house, and I ended up watching the new Hellraiser movie from 2022. I have seen most of the Hellraisers before. I used to have almost all of them on DVD. Hellraiser 1's a classic. 2 and 3 are pretty good. I personally, and I know a lot of people hate this one, I personally have a soft spot for Hellworld because it's so cheesy and corny, but it's still a good movie. It also helps that Superman, Henry Cavill, is in that movie, which just makes it even funnier. But I don't mind the cheesier versions of it. This was a good one. There are a lot of little nods to the previous movies. It's a different take on Pinhead, the villain. It's different, and I don't mind it. I think it's a nice new story. I don't know if they're going to go forward with it. This was made for Hulu, so it's not a major motion picture from a studio, so I don't know if they have plans going forward to do any sequels, but overall, I was really happy with it. It kept me engaged. It wasn't the bloodbath I thought it was going to be. It was a little more psychological, a little more things in the dark, which I appreciated. And yeah, overall, it was a good movie. I had a great time. I think I gave it a 7 out of 10. I probably will not watch it again. It wasn't a 10 out of 10. I'm going to watch this over and over again. But honestly, for a modern version of a horror movie, I was happy with it. I think they did a good job on it. I know soon I'll be wanting to watch Candyman is the next one on my list. I've been wanting to watch that one because I enjoyed the original, and I heard this one is a sequel to the original. So that will be a good time. Last little bit of news before we jump into the main event. If you didn't see earlier, PlayStation announced that they are going to be doing a remake of a game. PlayStation is famous, whatever you want to call it, for remaking their games. Whether it's a complete remake of something like, the Resident Evil series, which I know isn't PlayStation. It's whatever their name is. I can't remember the company right now, but they redid all the Resident Evil games, which is great. I'm a big Resident Evil fan. I think they did a great job redoing 1, 2, and 3, and I think 4 just got remade. But the remake they're talking about, or the redo of it, I guess they're going to call it, is they're redoing Crash Bandicoot again. They're giving it a PS5 graphical update. Now, I have Crash 1, 2, and 3, the remaster from the PS4 era. I think we're getting a little out of hand when it comes to these remakes. Now, if it's something from, like I said, Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, if you wanted to redo Metal Gear Solid, let's say, and do a modern version of it with extremely different graphics, that's one thing. To do something that you just took from your last console life cycle and just do a graphical upgrade for it, which isn't a ton, okay, you're pushing it. I think you're really pushing it when it comes to the fan base, because I don't think anyone is going to be running out to get this if they played the PS4 version, and everybody I know who liked the original played the PS4 version. But yeah, what's your thoughts on that? I know The Last of Us has had a remake, but that was a PS3 to PS5. You've got, I think they're doing Red Dead Redemption, but again, that's a 3 to a 5. So there's at least a 2 generation gap, but doing a 1 gen gap, I think you're really starting to get out of hand when it comes to these graphical upgrades that are supposed to be revolutionary. Crash is a little furrier. I don't think that really matters that much, as long as the game plays fun. But folks, I think that's it for our news. I don't think there's much else that happened around here. So we're going to jump into our sponsor, and we're going to jump into the main event. Hope you guys are doing well. If you are, leave a like on this video, leave a comment, share it with your friends, share it with your family. I hope they're all nerds. I hope they're all excited for Fan Expo in this weekend, because I think a lot of people, including us cosplayers, are really excited to show you guys what we've made over the year. Sponsor, as always, my beautiful, loving wife. As always, I would not be here without her. I really would not be the person I am without her. She is everything to me. She has changed my life so much, and she will always be the sponsor of the show. Hun, I love you. Thank you very much for everything. You are amazing. I love you. Let's jump into the main event. All right, let's talk about Comic-Con. If you've never been to a Comic-Con, why not? It's so fun. Like, I don't understand why if you've never been to one. How have you never been to one? It is so fun. It's 3, 4, 5 days, depending on which con you go to, and it's nothing but nerd stuff. It's everything you want. It is cosplaying. It is all the toys you've ever won, from adult to a kid. It's gaming. It's everything. It's so fun. But you got to be prepared, because what you think you can handle for 8 hours a day, sometimes longer, after a couple days of that, it starts to wear on you. So I've got a few tips that I'm going to talk about tonight that will help you get ready and be prepared for 3 days, 4 days of being on your feet. If you're a cosplayer, you're going to be in cosplay. If you got kids, this will help you too, because there's a few things in here that will apply to them. But I'm here to tell you that my tips will give you value when you go to your Comic-Con. Let's start out with number one. Number one, and I did this yesterday because I like making sure of these things. Wherever you're staying, whether it is a hotel, whether it is with family, these are all if you're not local. Check your hotel, check your Airbnb, check with your friends and family. Triple check your reservation. Number one, because this is something you can do days before the show. Why do I say this? Because things happen. Usually when you book a hotel for something like this, the deals and stuff for the conventions go on sale months in advance. So you book a hotel and everything looks good. And then things happen. Paperwork gets moved. Construction happens at a hotel. Floods happen at a hotel. Rooms get destroyed and they may not remember to contact you. Prime example, and I tell everybody this story. The first year I ever went to Comic-Con, 2009, I was with a couple friends of mine, Tom, Gavin, and Andy. We had done as I said, we booked everything well in advance. We booked the tickets, we booked the hotel. We were in town early a couple days before because we were going to a concert. We went to the concert in Toronto and I said, hey, let's go to the hotel, because this was before cell phones and all online stuff was regularly available. I said, let's go to the hotel and let's check on the reservation just to make sure. We went, we talked to the guy at the front desk. We said, we're so-and-so, we're here for the next weekend. Everything good. He said, 100%, everything's good. Good. Day of the con, we hop on the bus, we go to Toronto, we walk to the hotel, which is about 45, 50-minute walk from the GO station. We get in there, we talk to the hotel, and the clerk says, we don't have your reservation. And I said, what? What do you mean? We just were here. And he said, nope, we don't have it. This almost ended up getting into a fight because my buddy Tom, who I love to death, has a bit of a temper. And he wanted to jump the counter. Thankfully, I am cool, calm, and collected out of these situations and was able to make it work. And we were able to find the reservation after a little bit of a hassle. But after that first time, I always make sure to call the hotel and triple check things. For example, the hotel I'm staying at now has parking on site and has off-site parking. I want to triple check that on-site or off-site parking was available. If I showed up early, would they be able to take my luggage? If I have to leave or when I leave early, because checkout time is usually around 11 o'clock, 12, the con isn't done till 5. Are they able to hold on to my luggage? Or do I have to now get my car, put the luggage in my car, and find parking elsewhere? These are all things you need to know. This is one thing that I'm so glad I have a mind for. I am very good, and this is something I love for anybody who's doing a con or doing events. Walk through it in your head. Sit back and go, okay, I'm going to leave my house. I'm going to go to my hotel, and the hotel is going to ask me, what questions do you think they're going to ask? What are my answers? And what do I need to know when I get there to answer those questions correctly? And then when will that take me? It will then take me to, okay, I have to park the car. When do I need the car throughout the weekend? Do I need the car? Or can the car go somewhere and sit and not be needed? That is something you need to think about, because if you park on site, you will always have access to the car. If you park it off site, that means it's going to be even harder if you need to get something from the car. Now, as a cosplayer, I will have all my stuff with me. I won't need my car. So I could park off site. But I also have anxiety sometimes, and I like having things available in case I have an emergency attack and I need to leave. So these are all things that you need to think about before you even arrive at the con, because these things could pop up and you need to be prepared for it, because you don't want to panic in these situations. So always, step one, check where you're staying. And again, even with friends, check with your friends days before. Make sure they're going to be there. Make sure they didn't forget, because hotels and Airbnbs are pretty good because everything's online and everything has a calendar. Friends and family, they forget sometimes. They might forget to put in their calendar and they forget, and then you show up on the day of and they're not home. They're in Hawaii. You never know. So make sure to check before you leave days before you leave where everything is when it comes to where you're staying. Number 2, this is for cosplayers. And you know what? This is mostly cosplayers, but there is a part of this that will apply to everyone else. If you're a cosplayer, and I've said this on multiple times on multiple podcasts, make sure to try your cosplays on before you leave. Try on everything from top to bottom, put the whole thing on, go for a walk. If you're uncomfortable walking in public, like around your neighborhood, do a few laps of your backyard. If you live in a condo or an apartment, walk around your apartment. Don't just take 5 steps and go, cool. Walk around, move, stretch, do movements. If you think you're going to be taking photos in this cosplay, do some of the poses. Is your cosplay going to hold? Is it going to tear? These are all things you need to think about before you get on the con floor, because you don't want to say, well, I'm staying at this hotel and it's 3 blocks to the con and I have to walk in cosplay. Is it going to fall apart before I even get to the con? These are all things you need to think about. I personally like to go for a walk around on mine. I put on a full cosplay. I sometimes do a walk around my block. If not, I will do a walk around the backyard just to make sure everything feels good. I'm as loose and as mobile as I can without, taking 3 steps and a shoulder falling off or a helmet tilting and blocking my vision. These are all things you need to think about. Prime example, and actually, this is a prime example, but to add to that, you especially don't want the cosplay to break when you're putting it on in the hotel, because then your natural instinct will be to try to fix it, which will then pair into the next point. I hate that. I hate the idea of doing repairs or builds of a cosplay at the con. I hate that idea. I've hated it since the beginning. I know some people it works, and I know some people just need that little bit of time. No. I did a scarecrow costume, I think 3rd or 4th year I went to a convention, and it was not ready. It was not ready, and I brought all the stuff to the hotel, and I was working on it, and after about half an hour of sitting there, I went, dude, I just want to go to the con. If I'm not in costume, I'm not in costume. I just want to go to the convention because I'm paying X amount of dollars to be here and to go there. I'm not sitting here working on stuff, wasting my money. So if it's not done, usually if I don't have my cosplays ready by, say, tonight, because Fan Expo's on Thursday, they won't be great. I'm not bringing them. I will find something else to wear, or I won't wear a cosplay that day, because I hate that con crunch. I don't do well with it, and I stress too much about it. So I learned very quickly, that's not for me. Some people thrive on it. I don't. So to make my 3rd point, actually, let me back up. That 2nd point, to the regular people, wear a comfortable pair of shoes. Don't break in your shoes at the con. This is something I learned a few years after the scarecrow thing, where I wore a brand new pair of shoes. I wore a brand new pair of Chucks to the con on a Thursday. And by Sunday, my feet hurt because I wore Chucks all the time around, doing things that are normal. 8 hours, 3 days, not good on flats. I was so sore by the end. So wear good supportive running shoes that you're okay being on for hours, because you probably will, whether you want to or not, because there are places to sit and there are places to relax. But for the most part, especially if you have kids, you're going to be walking. Tara just said Chucks at a con. Yeah, I was that dumb because I went, well, they're cool Chucks. I have Two-Face Chucks, Batman Two-Face Chucks. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to wear these to a con. I did not. I really wish I didn't wear those because they were so sore by the end. My feet were killing me. So if you're a regular con goer, wear comfortable shoes, wear comfortable clothes, because you are going to be motoring for 8 hours a day, probably for 3 to 4 days. Make sure you got comfortable stuff to wear. Number 3, and this is for cosplayers. Again, I don't like this, but I know it is a rule for a lot of you. Make sure to bring a repair kit. Again, I'm not the guy to repair stuff at a con. I want to enjoy the con because that's what I paid for. But if you are a hardcore cosplayer and it is something that it's a make or break for you, that you will hate the con if you're not in cosplay, bring a repair kit, bring scissors, bring thread, bring glue, bring a heat gun if you can, bring extra material, bring all the things that you think might break on your costume, which is why, back to one of the original ones, wear your cosplay, wear it, feel it, see where tension is, where it might rip, so you can build your repair kit properly. Always, always, always bring a repair kit. Again, I know, bad cosplayer, but that's just not my style. Alex said I switch shoes daily. You know what? I'm technically doing that, but that's only because I'm in cosplay. But yeah, I could totally see switching shoes daily because that just, I could see some con funk happening from that, which we'll talk about later. Con funk. Next point, plan your route to the con and at the con. Prepare your commute, whether it is a bus, whether you are driving, whether you are walking, whether you are jogging. I don't know. Prep and make sure your route is good. Make sure that there's no construction happening before you leave. Make sure that there is no road closures. On the day of, check the traffic. Make sure there's no major accidents on the highways. Make sure that if you're in cosplay and you're walking to the convention from wherever you're staying, make sure you have proper sidewalks and you're not walking on the road. Make sure that the sidewalks are in good condition and you're not walking through dirt piles that could destroy the feed of your cosplay. Make sure to do as much planning when it comes to getting ready for those, whatever it is, whether again it's driving, even buses. I've booked concerts and I've got tickets to concerts and I have got ready, hopped on the city bus to go to the GO station, and once I got there, there was a train crash that happened on its way to Toronto. I could not get to the concert. I would have known that happened if I had checked before I left, and I wouldn't have wasted my time busing it to the GO station. So this is something, again, you can plan a little bit beforehand, especially when it comes to road closures and construction, stuff like that. But especially the morning of, before you leave, make sure to plan your route. Whatever way you're driving, busing, whatever, make sure to plan that. And even when you get to the convention, check the floor map. This is something that's very important, that gets very overlooked at every convention I've ever been to. I run into at least one person at every convention who has no idea where anything is. Anything. And I mean, there are certain things that if you look up and you see a washroom sign, I'm going to guess the washrooms are that way because that's where the arrow is pointing. It happens. But check the floor map and get an idea of your surroundings and where important things are. Places to sit, places to eat, big vendors, places to go to the washroom, escalators, elevators, other buildings, because this Fan Expo, there's a north and a south building. Get an idea. You don't need to learn every single vendor of where, like, I know vendor 244 is this. Don't need to know that. Just major things that you can visually see and go, okay, PlayStation's over there. That means the washroom's over there, or that means pizza's over there. Get a familiarity so you can kind of get an idea where certain things are to keep yourself ready for, again, the myriad of things that might happen, because, again, you might suddenly need to go to the washroom and not know where the washrooms are. If you looked at that floor map, you might have a good idea. So planning your route is key. Alex, most cons, and that's something everybody should know. Most cons, the volunteers are super busy and are always walking around. I have, again, friends who work conventions and they will track their steps. You're looking at an average 25K a day. That's a lot of steps. So if you're working a convention, you're on your feet most of the day. If you're attending a con, you're probably on your feet most of the day. Prepare for those type of things. Let's move on to the next one. This one, it depends on the convention. So take this one with a grain of salt. I can't guarantee it. Prepare food and snacks. Cons are pricey. We can all say it. If you've ever been to a con, you know that cons can be pricey, especially food vendors, because they know we all got to eat sooner or later. And when you walk into a fan expo and you smell that pizza smell, and you walk over there and you see a sign that says slice, pop, and a little bag of chips, $10 to $15, you almost faint for how bad that price is. But I don't make the prices. So if you can, try to bring some type of snack. If you have to lie and say, I'm diabetic or something to get away with it, not saying you do, I'm saying I've seen it. Try to bring something that you can snack on, whether it's granola bars, whether it's, I don't know, a small bag of snacks or something, some nuts, something like that. Something you can carry around all day and be prepared that, hey, I'm starving. I need something. Boom. Easy, good to go. Again, I know certain cons don't like outside food. Figure out ways to make that work. I'm not saying that there are certain cosplays out there, and if I was to do a Luigi costume, and that Luigi costume had a large vacuum on the back, and I made that thing look like one solid piece, but if I was to pop that top down where the bag would sit, and it's a big open compartment that had some snacks in it, I'd say that'd be a pretty smart design. I'm not saying that's what I did. I'm saying that would be a really smart design if you wanted to bring snacks. So do your best. Again, I know Hamilton and Niagara, you can probably get away with a couple little things. Don't bring like a grocery bag worth of stuff, because you can't do anything about that. But yeah, yes. Thank you, hon. That is another place you could put things. You can, if you have those things and you can get it to work, it's a good thing to use. Yeah, definitely try and bring snacks because you're going to need them. I personally, and I will have it all weekend, I will have a bottle of water because I need it. I need water because I'm going to be sweating my butt off in those costumes, except for Lantern. Lantern is beautiful. Lantern is the most comfortable costume I own. Spandex suit, breathable, love it. Next one, prepare an emergency kit. Now, this is different from the cosplay repair kit. This is an emergency kit, and that emergency kit should prepare you for any emergency. For example, any medications you have. This is key. Make sure to have any medications you need on you at all times. Any type of snacks you need. For example, people who have dietary restrictions who can't eat general things. My friend Tara in the chat has to eat gluten-free. That's not easily available at conventions. Certain places do, most don't though. So something that will fit your dietary restrictions. Bottles of water, also good. If you are traveling with children, do they need anything? Do they need anything that if they were to be in the middle of a convention and they have a meltdown, what would you need? Another good one that I haven't brought, a couple years ago I brought it. I didn't bring it last year. If you can buy one of those backup power banks for your cell phone, good thing to have on you just in case. Because if you're walking around with a map open or you're taking photos of everybody, your battery's going to drain, especially if you have an older phone. I've noticed with my phone recently, it does not hold a charge like it used to. So make sure that you have things like that. Make sure, again, anything you're in the most emergency situation, bring it. Cash, another big one. Cash is important. Cash is king. No matter what anyone says, cash is king. You can get so much done. Always make sure to have a couple bucks with you because you might need it. You never know. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. It's the old condom rule. It still applies at a convention. So we got prepare emergency kit. Let's go through these. Let's go back a couple just so we can make sure we got them all. Prepare an emergency kit. Pack your food and snacks. Plan your route to the con and throughout the con. Pack a repair kit if you're a cosplayer. Pack your cosplays accordingly. That is one that is important. I missed this one. I'm glad I went back. If you're a cosplayer, plan your cosplays accordingly. And what I mean by that is do not throw everything into one single tote. That is not cool. I can't do it because I will lose things and I will misplace things. I have 3 totes this weekend because I have 3 cosplays. I need to open a tote, put everything on, close the tote, and I'm done. At the end of the day, take everything off, put in the tote, close the tote. It's done. I used to say like I had a cosplay that had black pants and I had 3 costumes I can use those black pants. So I had, let's say, Ghost Rider, Punisher, and street clothes. Let's just say those 3. Wayne Campbell, black pants for all 3. I would use the same black pants for all 3. No, can't do it. A, they kind of stink after a while. B, I will misplace things. So have everything together in one tote for one cosplay. Best way to do it. I know it's extra and I know I can fit everything in one. I get that. But for my mental state, I need to have things broken up in this is Ghost Rider, this is Green Lantern, this is Dash. That's it. I can't mix and match because, again, I will forget stuff and I will lose stuff. Last year, fun story, I debuted Green Lantern, which I was super happy about. However, as a male, it's a spandex suit. Certain things hang out and you can tell what religion I am. It's not attractive. So I didn't buy a dancer's belt. I bought basically a extra, I think it was like super tight bike shorts that sort of hold everything together. And I had it and I left it here. And I got to the con and I pulled everything out just to make sure I had it and I forgot it. I needed a friend to bring it out to me, to get it to me. Thankfully, he was already going to the convention. Came close on that one. But that can happen if you start mix matching all your cosplays. Yes. Messiah, definitely. Dance belts are super effective. And you know what? Thank you for adding that because I was just about to. If you have an athletic cup, I recommend an athletic cup more than anything because kids are at that height, and if they throw a punch, guess where they're going to hit you? And I've seen it happen, and it hurts. I've seen Spider-Man fall fast after getting a punch to the nuts. It happens. Be prepared. Like I said, I'm Green Lantern, so I just have other cosplayers trying to hit me in the nuts because I'm Green Lantern, and I'm the best Justice League character. I don't care what anyone says. But yes, pack them accordingly. And yes, if you're wearing a spandex suit, wear something to cover that. I don't need to see all that. I don't think anybody really wants to. Hip pouches and cargo. Oh, Alex. Hip pouches and cargo pockets for the win. If you're walking around in street clothes, yes, cargo pants, cargo shorts are a blessing. I'm actually wearing a pair of cargo shorts right now. And yes, pockets are king. I love cosplays with pockets. I actually purchased I picked up a pouch pattern from the Freakish Workshop to add to my Dash costume because there are some versions of him that have pouches and some that don't. Now, wouldn't mind having the extra space, so built a couple extra pouches just to make sure. What's Messiah? Yep, I have. A cup is reliable and slightly uncomfortable. Dance belt is a bit more comfy, but no protection against those darn kids. 100%. The cup is uncomfortable. I used to play baseball, so I know that they kind of fit weird. But again, I've seen too many kids go for a swing, and it just, I haven't yet. Now that I say it, I'm probably gonna fall this year. Let's go the next one. Get a good night's sleep. Boy, does this matter. Now, I have many friends who are younger. I'll just be honest. I'm the old fart. I'm 35. I'm the old fart. There are older people who are my friends. I completely understand. But technically, I'm an old fart. I love my sleep and I need to sleep. Get a good night's sleep before you go to a convention and during the convention. There are friends of mine who will stay up late into the night and they will party hardy all night long. How they get up in the morning, I have no idea, because even me on 8 hours sleep, I'm like, I could go for another hour right about now. It's imperative that you do that, because it can get rough later in the day if you're not well rested and not ready to do another day of walking around a convention. I need my sleep. I personally am a very light sleeper, which means the littlest thing and I'm up. That is why I do Fan Expo solo. I don't have a hotel with anybody. I have an entire hotel room to myself, because while I don't mind crashing with some friends, I do that when I do Niagara Falls. I live close enough for Hamilton Comic-Con that they'll come here. But if I get the chance, I will be solo, because I need that sleep and I need that morning. The mornings of Fan Expo last year were so nice, because I wake up usually 6:45, 7 o'clock, and I'm just a relaxed type of person. I used to be a runner. I used to get up, get dressed, run. I'm not that person anymore. I get up early, have breakfast, listen to a podcast, do a stretch maybe if I get a chance, and just take it slow. And that is the best way that I can do a Comic-Con. And that's the way I am. Alex, that is when Coke comes in handy. I will hang on. That used to be me as well. However, I cannot drink Coca-Cola anymore. As of March, I think after Toronto Comic-Con, I realized that my body does not do well with Coca-Cola anymore. I used to drink Coca-Cola like water. And that is when anyone talks about I'm straight edge, sort of like I am straight edge. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. I don't do any of that stuff. I used to drink Coca-Cola, and I went a whole year drinking nothing but Coca-Cola, and it destroyed my insides. So I cannot drink Coca-Cola anymore without feeling really sick for a while, for hours. So that used to be my go-to, was drink Coke and I can keep going. Not anymore. So I have to figure out other ways to do it. So things like Zoa, which is non-sugar and it's got tons of caffeine, but it just doesn't hit me the same. But yes, any way that you can get through the day, it's important, because like I said, it's a long couple days. We got a couple more, and then I'm going to get you guys out of here. This point is the most important of any point that I make tonight. Checking into the hotel is important. Bringing your repair kit if you're a cosplayer is important. Planning your route is important. All of these things will make the con better for you. This next point is going to make the con better for everybody else. Proper hygiene is imperative. Please shower when you can. please wear deodorant when you can. If you need to put on cologne, put on some cologne. If you need to, after a cosplay or if you're wearing the same attire multiple times, try to air it out overnight. Try to wash it if you can. I know that's a little hard for some people who are always out doing things. They don't really have time to do a wash and a dry at the hotel or wherever they're staying. But do the best you can to stay as hygienic as possible at the conventions. We are all within very close quarters to each other. We are all within 2 to 3 feet of each other. We get it. It's summer. It's hot. We all sweat. Do your best to prepare for that by showering and deodorizing. When I'm walking around in my street clothes, I have a fanny pack, and in there is a small thing of deodorant because I know after a while I stink. So I always reapply it. I will probably be transferring that deodorant into my cosplays just to have on me because, again, Ghost Rider sweats. Dash, pretty sure he's going to sweat. Lantern's a little breezier. I think I'll be okay. But yes, please use soap when you shower. Please, hair, everything, just wash the best you can. Again, I know some people can't do anything about it because they perspirate more than normal. And again, we are within feet of each other. Please do your best. For the rest of us at the convention, please try your best to stay as hygienic as possible. And that's including washing your hands. We are no longer in a pandemic, but washing your hands will help make sure that nothing like that happens again and we can all enjoy the con and nobody's getting sick. Okay. Not saying you have to mask up, but do what you can. And I think the last thing is do your best to enjoy the con. That's the last point. That is the most, besides the hygiene point, that is the most important, is do your best to enjoy the con. There will be things that go wrong. It's bound to happen. I've gone to 13 cons, 13 fan expos, including Hamilton and Niagara Falls. I've been to 20 conventions at least. Something always goes wrong every year. It happens. Don't freak out. Whether you're a cosplayer or you're just an attendee, everybody wants the con to work out the best it can. They're not there to make you mad. They're not doing it on purpose. I understand that you all paid good money to get in to see everybody. Do your best to enjoy the con as best you can because we all paid good money, and the volunteers didn't pay anything, and they're still there all weekend. Just try and be as civil and as nice to everybody you meet, volunteers, staff, other guests, celebrities. Be as cool as you can because we're all trying to have a good weekend. And in the end, that's the whole reason we're there, is to enjoy the conventions and have fun. That's it. Okay? Think we can all do that? I think so. Alex, be nice to volunteers, not their fault. Yes. And as a volunteer for other cons, I agree. It's not our fault. We're doing our best. Should we have more knowledge? Of course we should. Should we wish we had every bit of knowledge as soon as it comes available? Of course. But sometimes we don't. And sometimes we're just given the information we have and we have to run with it. And we have to tell you guys this information because that's what happens. Celebrities cancel. Stuff runs out. People are jerks sometimes. Just try and be cool, calm, and collected. And do your best to enjoy the con because, again, we're all trying to have fun. So let's run through these one last time so you can all be prepared. Check your hotel and staying location wherever you're staying a couple days before to make sure that it is ready and you are ready to go there. Try on all your cosplays before you go to the con. Go for a walk, make sure everything fits, everything moves, nothing falls apart. If you're just attending, make sure that you're wearing comfortable clothes and all of that is good. Make sure your shoes are worked in. They're not brand new shoes because you will pay for it after day one. Pack your cosplays accordingly. Pack your clothes and pack everything accordingly. Make sure you have everything on you and you've brought everything you need so you don't run into the problem of having to go home and get something or get someone to deliver something to you. Pack a repair kit if you're a cosplayer. Again, I don't do it, but making sure you have little things with you just in case something breaks, tears. Also, shout out to places like Cosplay for a Cure. They have a repair station at Fan Expo. If your cosplay breaks and you don't have the materials, check them out. They are downstairs on the 200 level with the other cosplay stuff. They're in one of the rooms. They are a great organization. They take donations and they donate those donations to charity. They do a great job. They're there every year. They knock it out of the park with the materials and stuff that they bring on their own. So go give them some love if you're a cosplayer because they deserve it. Plan your route to the con and at the con. Make sure you know where you're going. Make sure the roads are all good. Make sure you're walking. And throughout the con, you know where everything is so you do not get disoriented and have to ask 15 different questions about where everything is. Pack foods and snacks if you can get them in there. Again, don't bring a grocery bag, just a couple things just in case you need something quick, you got it ready to go. Prepare in a personal emergency kit, any medications, any special things you need, Band-Aids, anything like that. Females, Band-Aids, important. I think Tara mentioned that earlier up in the chat. Band-Aids, heels, they tear after a while, so make sure you got those. Get a good night's sleep the night before and throughout the con because, again, you're 8 hours on the floor every day. It's a long day if you're not prepared for it. Hygiene is key. Shower, deodorant, everything like that. Save everybody some smelly problems later. And last of all, least, enjoy the con. Enjoy it. Have fun. It's going to be a great weekend this weekend. I will be there all weekend. I will be there in this attire probably on Thursday. I will be Dash on Friday. I'll be Ghost Rider on Saturday. I will be Green Lantern on Sunday. I hope to see all of you there. And if I don't, I will see you next week on Monday Night Nerd. We're going to obviously be talking the whole show about Fan Expo and what my thoughts are, what they can improve, what went great. We're going to talk about all that stuff, all the fun stuff that happened at Fan Expo. But until then, you guys have a great week. If you're a cosplayer and you're con crunching, my thoughts are with you. I hope you're doing okay. I hope to see you already on Thursday. Until next week, have a great week, everybody. And that's it for Monday Night Nerd. I'll see you next week. See ya. Hey, thanks for watching Monday Night Nerd. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the subscribe button, like this content, and follow on social media for even more nerdy fun. See you soon.